Hi, welcome. I'm Barbara Bertucci, and it's my privilege and honor to have Chris Bruce with me today on launching your business and getting it going. Launching a new person, or you may be launching yourself. So, whatever way, I just had a great call with him the other day, and I thought, I need to have you on. Other people need to hear this. And so, Bruce, Chris, sorry, you take it away.
That's okay. I've got five first names. My parents were a little indecisive, so just anyone you pick, I usually will answer to. So, um, yeah. So yesterday we were talking about going silver. How you actually do it. The most efficient structure for it, and really there are a lot of ways that you can do it. It's a lot more flexible, like than when you and I started. It was pretty much one way, one chance, or you start over next month. Now it's a little more forgiving. So, but there still are things that you want to do, things you don't want to do, that'll make you more effective in building and launching your business. So myself, when I started, it was a lot of desperation. I was telling this story yesterday. I'd been using Nikken's products for about a year and a half. I'd gone from disabled to regularly abled. Lots of pain pills to no pain pills. Body brace, can't drive a car. To just everything back to normal. Um, but the company that I was working for at the time did a whole bunch of really bad things. And when I went to my boss's boss to report the things that were happening in my office, it turned out that the boss's boss and his boss were all part of the same corruption. And instead of fixing things, they fired me and kept all my commissions for the last couple of months that I was waiting on. I was living in company paid for housing and driving in a company car, and I lost those immediately about a month before I was supposed to get married. So no fun. And I really had never intended to have Nikken be my business. But about the same time, I ran into a woman that I had been in physical therapy with. She'd broken her back in the late 60s. I broke my back in the early 90s. And we were just, both pretty wrecked. And I had been using Nikken's product, like I said, for about a year and a half, and I was fine. I ran into her, and she was not fine. She was just as bad as she'd been before, and it made me feel bad that I hadn't shared Nikken. So I started with her, and she had a great turnaround from using the Nikken mattress, and that started my business then. And throw in the fact that I was homeless in California with about $500 total to my name and no car. Um, I had to start with desperation, and I just went and I talked to absolutely everybody who would slow down long enough for me to put a pair of mag steps in front of them so they could step on them. I do the mag step test and offer them one of my cherished 17-minute audio cassettes to try and get them to look at the business. And I was able in that month to sell quite a few Nikken products, to sign up a few people, and get a check that was enough for me to buy a really, really crappy apartment in California and one plane ticket to get to my wedding. I had to wait for the next check to finish paying off the ring. But anyway, there's a lot of things that you learn when you're making a big mess like that and just throwing things everywhere. You do things wrong, and I stacked people on top of each other instead of going wide, and that affected my business long term. So things that you want to do, if you haven't seen the Teach 3 to Reach 3 or the Fast 500 program, um, those are the things that are most efficient for going executive and then going silver, and everything else builds on that. And so Teach 3 to Reach 3 is the concept of you finding three people that want to build a business. So people who have the same mindset as you, where they're entrepreneurial, they want to reach out to people, they want to create something. So in doing, finding those three, you're going to find a lot of customers as well. So there's that rule of thirds. So if you go through 21 people, about 7 will do something, and of those 7, about 3 will actually stick long term and build a business. And so as you're going through talking to lots of people, you are going to get a lot of no's, a lot of maybes, a lot of yeses that turn into no's. But if you go through the numbers enough, you're going to find your three. And then the next step is to teach them to do the same thing. So you found three and taught them to reach three. And then the Fast 500 is, if you come in and do something like a waterfall, a couple other products, whatever it is that equals 500 points, then teach each person to do that. If you do your 500 and three people that you find do 500, sorry, got a call that popped in there. That's going to equal 2,000 points that month, which is going to make you executive and get them their 500 to roll to executive in the next month. In the next month, you try to find three people for each of your three people, making each of them executive. Each of them has 2,000 points. That pushes you over what you need to be silver. So doing that and repeating that over and over, that's best case scenario, doing it in a month or two. You could do it in 3 months and still have it work the same. But it gives you several benefits. One of them is that you remain one level rank ahead of your downline, which means that you're always getting commission on what your downline does. So if you're a direct with a direct front line, there's 5% that's available, which means that if your frontline direct sells something, you don't get a commission on it. There's no override for you. So you always want to be one level ahead until you get to silver. And then after that, you get the 6% override, which means that everybody's getting paid. And so
I'm just going to add, that's awesome. And what I'm going to say is, with the reach three, teach three to reach three, on the picture, they have the 2 up above. And I'm thinking that those are customers as well, but also wellness subscriptions. So to look at a goal for wellness subscriptions, even if it's a quarterly or every 6 months waterfall, it starts to add up and it starts to give you that repetitive income coming in. So those are some other little mini goals to build in that as well. And you want to continue, like you said, building wide. If you've got your 3, then you want to go ahead and get 3 more and continue going wide. And for some reason, Brody always shares the 7th one, like to have a backup one for some reason, but to keep going with the width as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you are unlimited on how wide you can be. You could have 33 or 43 or 153 people wide if you're, just have that much gumption. And all that can do is help you. The whole idea of this is to teach people to be self-sufficient and be leaders. And so best case scenario is that in each of your 3 legs, you're going to find at least one person who, if you never called them again, is still going to build a Nikken business. Because at that point, you have an independent leader who is going to just keep building their business no matter what. And that is what finally gives you the freedom. So a lot of people look at this kind of business as, an expensive lottery ticket. I'm going to spend the $19, the $49, the $99, whatever it is to sign up in a company like this. And suddenly I'm going to be wealthy. I'm going to get lucky. But it isn't. It's literally a business. It's something that you're building. And a lot of what you're building is your own personal influence, your own personal ability to transmit information. So other companies, Super Bowl's coming up. People are paying between $3.5 and $5.5 million for a 30-second ad to hopefully sell enough product over the year to pay for the ad. So we do it a little differently, where all of the money that would be spent on making the commercial and playing it at the Super Bowl is instead paid out to hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of people all over the world who are each doing a little bit of that marketing to a few people at a time. And so that's where the power of it comes from, is you can be an influencer. And, if you're, 30, 40, 50 years old, you've probably met 3,000 or 4,000 people in your lifetime. If you're just kind of average, if you're an outgoing person, you maybe have met 2 or 3 times that many people, at least in passing. And from that, they play the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. where you can go through and figure out, 6 individual meetings, and everybody in the planet knows Kevin Bacon. But it really is about that simple. You can just take a few steps. I was just on the phone last night with a guy who I think he lives in Florida now, but I'm not sure. He's moved all over the place since I've known him. But we just found out after about 10 years of knowing each other that we had the same scoutmaster about 20 years apart.
Wow.
And the scoutmaster's from a town with about 70 people in it, called Cedron, Idaho. And so, it's just one of those weird things where, when I was 8 years old, this scoutmaster's mom was actually my Cub Scout leader. So, all these weird connections can happen. But if you go out the other way, every person is going to connect you to probably 2,000 or 3,000 people that you don't know. And every person that they have connected you to is going to connect them to another 2,000 or 3,000 people that they don't know. And so that influence can go out and out and out and out. So I remember years ago, I went to Germany, and I met our downline in Germany that I had nothing to do with, because I'd met somebody who met somebody who met somebody who met somebody that signed up you, and Germany was under you. So I got there, and some of those people had heard my backstory, but I had no idea who they were. But we went to a meeting in Germany, and a lot of people had, knew about this guy from Idaho who got tackled playing flag football and broken, and they were all excited to meet me. But I didn't know who they were because they were so far down in my downline that, they had leaders between me and them that took care of them. So the whole idea is just that concept of
now I'm going to ask something, and I'm a segue just a little bit, and that is, we have the customer base and we have the consultants, and so I'm really wanting to teach not to have wholesale buyers but builders.
Yeah.
And so how do you get that distinction? And I'm just going to say it's okay to sign up a customer, and then later they can sign up as a consultant. Let them get their insole or water bottle or whatever, but when they're ready to make a purchase and commit. So you want to share a little bit about that too?
Yeah, well, that's what I was. I was a customer. I bought my Flex at retail. It wasn't until later that I was going, well, I want to buy 3, 4, 5 more things, so I better sign up. And it wasn't until later that I became a builder. I've told a story. That first month when I was going out and doing all those mag step tests,
Right.
I met a guy at just a strip mall, and just there on the sidewalk, I did the mag step test on him. He really liked them. A couple days later, we met up at the coffee shop. He bought those mag steps. I tried to sign him up in the business. He didn't want to do it, but I kept in touch with him, and he gave me a referral. And that person bought some more product. And that person didn't sign up in the business, but they were a customer for a couple of years where they bought product every once in a while. But they gave me a couple of referrals. And it just went on and on and on. And 5 or 6 steps down the road, I signed somebody up. And then that person started to build a business. And pretty soon that person had over 1,000 people in their business. And so from that one pair of mag steps that I sold on the sidewalk, I've made well over $100,000 in personal income over the years from that one sale, where it was one customer who just repeated purchases, little commissions, $6, $10 here and there, every few months for years. And the referrals of the referrals of the referrals and everything like that has it turned into a lot of income. And so customers are absolutely vital for your business. And yes, it is okay to sell things retail. We appreciate when you do, because that's a significant part of your income. That doesn't mean you have to be a door-to-door salesman, but just making contact with people. There's a lot of people doing this kind of business kind of think that they have to find people who are sick. They're looking for people who are injured or in pain or limping around. But, we want to help those people. But what we're looking for are people who are influencers. So who do you know that's a pastor? Who do you know that's a doctor or a lawyer or on the city council or, a teacher at the school or on the school board or something, like people who know a lot of people. Those are the people that you want to connect with. And if you don't know those people, it's fairly easy to get to know them, because your town, wherever you live, needs lots of volunteers to make the city work. I've done a lot with Habitat for Humanity. I grew up doing construction, and so I go in and volunteer with that. And you meet a lot of people who are really, really nice, who are looking to help people. So people who volunteer for things are usually really nice people that are good to get to know. And so you can expand your influence. So those new contacts you made lead to new contacts. And not all of them are going to be, of course, excited to join Nikken, but they are going to be people that can lead you to new people. And so everything you can do to build customers. If I go and look in my customer base, there's probably 800 or 900 registered customers in my business over the last 25 years. And, not all of them order every month, of course. But like you were saying, quarterly or something like that, I do a fairly good business on filters for waterfalls and aquapores. So every little bit that you can add to your business does turn into exponential growth.
Yeah. I loved when you shared the story of how that links, and excuse my kitten coming through. I've got no control. I've lost control of that. I'm going to open it up for Q&A. I think that this is a great time to see if anybody has a question for Chris. Or I know that we've got great things that lead us. I was just looking at, again, the Club Kiai, certain things that are goals that might look insurmountable at one point or another, but at least now it's got the potentiality, because the customers, the different things you're building, like you said, it kind of gets out of control at some point too.
Yes.
So,
Chris, I've got a question.
Yes.
I've got several people who have that tiny little bit of hope in their eyes, that little bit of stars in their eyes, where they're wishing they could make some money. So they're seeing Nikken as a place that they could do that. But when they even hear numbers, even like 500, they recede, they're reticent, they pull back. Do you have any suggestions of how to give hope to people, how to make them see a little bit beyond what they think they can see right now? Does that make sense?
Yeah. There's a concept, and I talked about this a little while ago, called the Overton window, where you can change the what people see as reasonable. And so, a lot of times you'll have, one of the big leaders, like Ken Hankins, would always show up in his Corvette, kind of as, look what you could do, look what you could have. Sorry, I'm getting a whole bunch of calls this morning. So I didn't quite make it home from I was volunteering at the school this morning. So it is good to show people success that other people have had. So if you can find someone who's similar to them that has had success in Nikken, that's why three-way calls are so important to share. So if you have the housewife at home who just needs a few $100s to make ends meet, find someone in Nikken that has a similar background. If you have the athlete that was injured, the executive that hates his or her job, that wants more time at home, making those connections so that it's not just you that's telling them stuff. Because even if they're a new person, you still get that a prophet hath no honor in his own land kind of thing, because now they know you. And so for some reason, your credibility goes down with familiarity. So you have to keep introducing new people to give them more hope, to kind of feed that belief, and then do everything you can to give them small wins early on. So it may be as simple as helping them with the three-way and selling a mag step, and they make a few bucks, and they can see that it's something that's doable. You don't have to do the 500 immediately, and you don't have to do it by yourself. A lot of people, like myself, I had to borrow money to buy my first Flex for $90 plus tax and shipping. I just didn't
That's
have
how
it.
much it was back then. Now it's what, 50 something. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was $90. It was gold. It had Velcro on it, and it still fell out of my shirt and my pants all the time. I even left one on an airplane once because the Velcro stuck to the seat of the airplane,
Oh,
and I didn't feel it pull out, and then they wouldn't let me back on to get it. So, yeah, I mean, little successes are the thing that's going to help build belief, and then also association with people that they can identify with who've already done it.
thanks.
You just have to see, you know, it's like the 4-minute mile. It was impossible. Your heart would explode. You know, every doctor and expert in the world explained in detail why it could not be done. And Roger Bannister did it, and then within a year, you know, several dozen people have done it, and now kids in high school do it. It just took somebody doing it to see it. And you know, with the access to media that we have now, it's so easy to show people that have had success. And so,
That's really, that's
you know,
true
there's
because
literally thousands of stories.
for some reason,
Go ahead.
I think I won a trip or a ticket. I might have won a ticket out to Nikken out in California, and I had just gone gold. And it was exciting and thrilling and a lot of things. You know, you got the team underneath you. And no, I was just silver. Excuse me. I just gone silver. And I'm seeing gold out there. And I think I might have met Ken Hinkins or some of the farmers, right? And I'm like,
Yeah,
they're walking across the stage as gold and platinum. And I'm going, if these guys can do it in this little bitty town, that has, I just got blown away. I was like, it was like I couldn't see it for myself before I saw it in other people. And I
yeah.
could get to that edge and then I could see more, that part.
Hmm.
But I think too is to let them know that they're not spending the 500. When we
Yeah,
say that, you might have 100 on your wellness subscription, but you may not have 500 on there. You go
right.
find 4 or 5 people to do their own wellness subscriptions, and as customers, you'll make more on that. You probably
Yeah,
afford your own wellness subscription at that point. So,
yeah,
any
yeah.
other
We try to teach get 5 customers as fast as you can that are on a wellness subscription, so they're auto ship every month. And
That's
that made,
beautiful.
yeah.
So the first order, almost every first order, they're a customer in my
Hmm.
account. And that
Hmm.
way, down the road, they know there's a business to this. They're going to ask you or have the right questions about it. But at least, and then if you need to make up or something, or it's not that big of a deal on the retail part, it isn't, might be a power band or a chip to offer them, so that they have more products. But when they become a consultant underneath you, to compensate them back a little bit. But
Sure.
so, Elaine, did that answer it, or did you
Yeah,
have
it's good.
another? Did it segue?
Good.
That's so true because you do want to make sure that you bring in other people to share. Well, Gita, you could probably share that right now because I was starting to share launching, and Gita and I have worked and Don Marie all past year, and it's like I need someone that's good with the numbers and the sharing. And we didn't even get into numbers per se, but I grabbed Chris and Chris came on, and that's how we did it as an ABC so that you could hear it a different way. And so you want to share, Gita, or you want to?
Well, for me, it was just, listening last night, and it was kind of jumbled for me because I wasn't visually seeing all the numbers in my head. And even when I wrote it down, and it just didn't make sense to me. So I had to really kind of think about it a little more. But, this morning, as Chris started, and I wrote it down again, and I thought, oh, now that makes much more sense to me. So I can see that.
Okay.
So it's clarity for me that I can visualize it even better. So now I know that, okay, I really need to focus on this portion a little bit more.
Okay.
So, yeah. So thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. If you've seen that Fast 500 patch that Magnetic Leaders will send out, it's when you personally have 500 volume and have 3 frontline people who have
Mhm.
500 volume, and it just it's this all these circles on fire with 500 in there.
Right. Right.
It's just a little patch you can put on your jacket or your bag or whatever. Um, it does
Well,
help you to uh, visualize the kind of the structure of it.
right.
Uh,
Right.
so
The other thing that Barbara shared with us last night also was the tools portion that she shared with me last night. So I kind of went. I hadn't heard of that over the many years. Obviously, I didn't get the training like I should have when I joined. But I was in it mostly for me because I had such great benefits and never even thought about sharing it as much as I should have. But looking at those tools last night, and they again, it's a visual thing for me. So the tools definitely help me in that section, and so yeah, it's gonna propel me here.
yeah, we all learn different ways. Some people just hearing it is fine. Some people have to have it drawn out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
some people have to draw it out themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like
Exactly. Yeah.
those little things that those little trifolds or whatever tools
Right.
you're going to use.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's another thing, so you can be talking while they're reading it. Just helps reinforce, and then they get to take it home, so they'll remember the numbers.
And it starts to build, it starts to duplicate. I remember, and when Igor came in the group, and we were just making goals, and we were saying, well, what do you want to earn by the end of the year? What do you want to have? And his was so off the chart, and I was like, I don't know how to back that out. I don't know how to do that. But we did it. We figured out. We played with the numbers, and we did that. But I say that only because it's like, I'm their leader. Which way did they go? It's okay. Give them things, but let them take off with it. And as Dave says, make a mess, and we'll help clean it up later.
Yep.
Because it really is. You can't do anything wrong. You can't say anything wrong to the right person. They're going to jump in. They're going to start playing. They're going to get some information. And um, so, yeah. Anything else, Chris, you want to add, or anybody else have a question? And I'll.
Yeah, just go out there and go for it, and tie everybody into your team. It isn't a do it on your own kind of business. You need a lot of help. Dave Johnson, who's been in this forever and a day, we signed up a person just a few months ago, and they had a good product experience, and he's used both of the couple probably 30-40 times for 3-ways to have them be the expert, even though he's got 25-30 years experience on them, and they've got a few weeks or months. um, just tie people in so that they make those connections, and it helps both of them. So if you have a customer with a good product experience, use them for 3-ways to help reinforce for other people, and that's also going to teach them that they have a valuable um, piece to add to the business, and it's going to build their confidence, and that may turn them into consultants later on. So the biggest thing is make a big community, a club people want to join.
There you go. That's awesome. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for being on today. This was awesome. And get with the person that invited you, because we have amazing. We're building our community on the Nikken Highway.